Hello Star Wars action figure fans and collectors, GCC2224 back again with another Star Wars action figure video. And today I just really need to make a rant on Hasbro. To start, my nose is a little kind of clogged today, but really Hasbro, there are like a million problems I have with them right now. And to start, it probably has to be movie heroes. I mean, Daniel East 1000's put it very nicely. Same with Supreme Obliterator. It's just, you know, we shouldn't have a third wheel, and if we do, it should be good. You know, it's like with that line, we're going back to pre-Revenge of the Sith, pre-2005, and honestly, it's just pretty, you know, back then, we should say, oh, it's a good figure for the time. No, we really shouldn't say that. We should say it has to be a good figure for this time. And half the figures from movie heroes are crappy. If you're gonna make them crappy, make them cheap. And it's like, I don't want to pay $8 for a figure I could get online for like $3. It's just, Hasbro just really needs to rethink that line. They need to rethink the collector's priorities. They need to rethink the kids' priorities, because kids, honestly, I mean, you know, me being a kid, it's like, what are you going to turn to? Are you going to turn to a figure that's higher quality, better guns, and just overall easier to play with? Or are you going to turn to something that, you know, has this gigantic gun with a missile that just, you know, I think missile firing features right now I think are stupid, but in kids I understand why they like them. But they still like higher quality figures. I mean, it's easier to play with figures with lower articulation, but they just like figures that, you know, have the soft goods and don't have these clunky plastic capes and all that. And really, it's like Hasbro just really needs to rethink that line. And now with Clone Wars, you know, they're taking major steps back with that. It's like, I know you're trying to make these figures so they can appeal to kids, but you have to make them so they appeal to adults too. I mean, with the Phase 2 Clone Trooper, I think that's a good mix. I really do. But with ones like Captain Rex, I mean, it's this utter crap. I mean, what you get with that, you get this chain gun thing, which you can hardly hold, these 2 pistols, and a crappy figure, and that's it. And really, I mean, as a kid, I really wouldn't enjoy that guy, because even if I would be younger, I would like to get him in cool poses and make him fight like battle droids and all that. But see, you can't do that with a lot of these figures, and with adults. I mean, I know adults like putting these things on shelves, and really that's it. But they like putting them in good poses, too. You know, they like putting them in good positions for dioramas, displays, things of that nature. And they just really need to rethink their priorities on those 2 lines. And just as kind of a biased side note, the packaging itself, you know, I think that's taken like a step towards like superhero movie packaging. You know, how it's kind of, you know, it's interesting and can appeal to kids on shelves, but really it just doesn't look good. It looks kind of crappy. It doesn't really reflect on the quality of the figure. And considering that the movie heroes and Clone Wars packaging is white, and most Star Wars characters like Stormtroopers and Clone Troopers and various other characters are white in color, it's like it blends too much and really just makes the figure and the packaging look boring. Now with the vintage collection, I must say, Hasbro still is making good quality figures with that collection. But with the latest, you know, few waves or so, it's like people can't even find them. I mean, myself, I haven't even really found any new figures from the vintage collection on pegs yet. Sure, I did one time sadly find remains of a new case, like the, you know, Bespin Han and all that, at a Walmart, but you know, people can't find them. And I think it's because they're getting bad with distribution. You know, they were bad with distribution last year. Now we have, like, no distribution. I mean, these figures are supposed to be out for, like, a month or so. And it still almost feels like they just came out because no one can find them. I mean, no one can literally find them. Sure, a few people can, but not too many. Most people are getting them online, if you really think about it. And also, a lot of times, employees that, a lot of times employees that handle these things, they kind of look them up online and see how much they go for. They take them for themselves and just scalp. That's not the biggest issue, but scalping is a really big issue. It's like, if Hasbro makes a highly desirable figure hard to get for a collector, it just opens a window for scalpers to get more money, thus making Hasbro lose money, in a sense, but have, and these scalpers get more money. And in the end, it just really doesn't make sense. And another thing is just, with the Phantom Menace wave, if you saw my overview videos on that, you know how I think about that. They just had way too great of expectations. It just was awful. In the end, it was just like, great figures and all that. A few are kind of not too good, but really, every store I go to, I see who knows how many figures, and with these character debut stickers that they're putting on figures, it's like, it's a scalper radar. Like, hey, this figure's never been released, collectors will die for this. And it's also kind of something that parents might take advantage of as well. It's like, ooh, this is character debut, my son or daughter doesn't have this, I can buy it for them. And in the end, it's like, these character debuts, in the end, like Amalgus and a lot of these other characters, they're figures that are kind of hard to find if you really think about it. Like Phantom Menace, sure, they have a lot of character debuts, but certainly, they're not really hard to find. If someone hasn't found Phantom Menace figures yet, I don't know where you live. I'm sorry. It's, if you haven't seen them at all yet, you must be living in, like, the boonies or something. Or not even have a store near you. But, seriously, it's just pretty ridiculous how Hasbro's really acting. Like Daniel East 1000 said, they shouldn't see us as just these numbers and all that. They have to see us as, all these rant videos and all these collectors that are really upset is feedback. And Hasbro should accept that feedback instead of being this lifeless corporate kind of company that they're trying to pose themselves to be in a sense. Honestly, a lot of collectors really haven't had anything against Hasbro until recently. Until vintage collection distribution started getting really bad. And sure, people actually didn't mind the occasional hard-to-find wave. It just kind of made, collecting a little interesting and fun. But now, no one can find anything. The only place I have seen new movie heroes is at my local grocery store. The only place I've seen new Clone Wars, and it's only one figure, my Captain Rex I got, is at my local grocery store, the same one. And with vintage collection, I haven't even seen that yet. And stores, stores are also something that we can blame, especially Target. Every single Target I go to deserves that that new kind of, not sticker, that little pamphlet that people are putting on the pegs saying stop distributing the figures on various pegs and just restock. Because I remember when the cases, the 3-packs for the vintage collection came out at Target, the Target exclusive ones, I was able to, get the employees to get them from the back and give them to us. But the start of this year, my local Target, that's like 3 minutes walking distance from my house, literally, they don't even have anything in the back. And they only have like 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 Phantom Menace vintage collection figures on their pegs. And really, I'm just really disappointed. I think I'll cut this video off at around 10 minutes. I don't really want to go on that long about it. I'll probably end up making a part 2 because really, this is a situation that Hasbro really needs to look at and say, hey, people are upset. We need to do something about it. So that's really it with this video. Have a good day, and may the Force be with you.